So we're just now coming to the end of Moark Road at the southernmost side of Missouri. You can see a big red gate there. That's the neighbor's driveway. And we're going to cut left. So Moark Road just ended. And we're going to cut left onto the gravel road to the property. And this is where you may encounter a gate or a cable. We'd be happy to give you the combo for that. There we go. So we'll pull on through here in a second. But also I wanted to mention, if you want to drive to State Line Cove, pull through that first gate, and then instead of continuing south, if you go off to the field, go off to the east, and there's kind of a trail that kind of runs along the tree line at the field, and that will take you all the way down to State Line Cove. You can take a truck or an SUV right down to the water, and actually, I guess you could put your boat or jet ski in right there. So we do own this property, and you've got our permission to use that. I mean, it's not an easement or anything, but as long as we own this chunk right here, you're welcome to do that. If you want some easier access to State Line Cove, if you don't want to necessarily put a trail in going east on your property, then this gives you a really good option to still get to the water. And you'll see that big tower there. This used to be a buffalo ranch, and that, I guess, was a viewing station, so everybody could look at the buffalo. So now we're pulling through to the south, and just follow the gravel road. Beautiful open meadow. We always see deer and turkey out here. This is the nearest neighbor. Super nice guy and his wife, retired. Beautiful lake view. So we're still at the north side of the peninsula. We've actually got some Corps land on the right there. Those white pickets indicate the Corps of Engineer land. And we're going to keep heading south. So this large gray metal building, it's a really good landmark because that's where we come to the Y in the road. So we've just passed the building, pile of gravel, but that won't be there forever. But we come to the Y in the road, and now we're going to go left at the Y in the road. If we were to go right, we would continue all the way down. It goes all the way down to the south side of the peninsula, where that really cool sandy beach area is. So I mean, that's awesome. There are some rough sections in the road, so if you're not in a truck or an SUV, you probably don't want to head down that way. For the most part, it's good, but there is one rocky area where you kind of have to go up some rocks. But anyway, we go to the left. It's just the wildlife out here is amazing. It's like I don't know, a private zoo. This whole peninsula, it seems like there are some herds of deer and turkeys and whatnot that just stay out here, because almost every single morning we see 10 or 15 or 20 deer in that field. We've been seeing turkey all the time. Now we've come to another Y in the road, and this time we're going to head to the right. If you go left, it just goes to a small field and stops right away. We're going to veer to the right. Really, you do want to have that MapRight link, if at all possible. Download the MapRight app to your smartphone or your tablet, and then we'll send you the link to the active MapRight map. And then if you open your email on your phone, it'll say, do you want to open this, because we'll email you the link. If you open that email, it will say, do you want to open this link within the MapRight program? And you'll say yes. And then the actual interactive map from the listing will open up, and there'll be a little blue dot that indicates where you are. So it's by far the best way to look at these tracts. because this can certainly be confusing. I've been out here many times and I'm still confused by the road system. Obviously these are fairly primitive roads or trails. That is by design. These will never be large paved roads. This is really more for truck and SUV lifestyle. Okay, so we're parked right here on the easement road. We're a little over halfway to the property. There's a trail going off to the left, to the north. That leads past Tract 6, 7, and 8 to the core line. I believe the trail itself goes all the way down to the lake. But we're going to keep heading south here on the easement road. Beautiful day, beautiful day. It's in the 40s right now. It feels warmer with the sun coming up, but it's going to be about 65. Maybe even as high as 70 today, which is perfect weather for getting out here and enjoying things. And in the Ozarks, the middle of winter, like it is right now, can be really interesting because we do have 4 distinct seasons, with the leaves changing and the winter time and spring and summer, etc. But also we have stretches where it can be quite warm. So here we are in the middle of winter and it's going to be 65, almost 70 today. We just went over a couple rough spots in the road. These are minimum maintenance easement roads, so they're never going to be paved highways. Now we're at a Y in the road. We're going to hang a left. But the whole idea behind these kind of easement roads was to kind of give the whole area that character, kind of like you're driving to your cabin in the woods. And with that, you want to take a truck or an SUV to your cabin in the woods. It's pretty early in the morning, and we're staring right into the sun, unfortunately. So that's going to make the video dark. If I haven't already mentioned it 10 times, this is an awesome area for deer and turkey. This huge private peninsula. I mean, I think there are a number of deer and turkey that probably never leave the peninsula. So you are bound to see those guys running all over your property. And we're coming up now on that large meadow area. I can hear a few boats off in the lake. I mean, there are definitely people who fish year-round in this lake. It's open for fishing year-round because it doesn't get cold enough for the water to freeze over. I prefer to get it at least in the 70s before you find me on the lake, but I can certainly understand that some people are hardcore like that. Okay. So we just pulled into the big meadow area. All right, so we just pulled into the big meadow, and as soon as you see the big meadow, you'll take a right, and the road easement runs along the edge of the big meadow. That also means we're getting really close to the property. It's a beautiful day out. It's almost 70 degrees, and it's the middle of winter. So that's the Ozarks for you. It's not always this nice in winter, but when it is, it's pretty awesome. We've seen deer today, we've heard turkey today, we've seen hawks, potential eagle. We did crash one drone, unfortunately. The Phantom 4 Pro took a tumble from about 40 feet in the air after I clipped a big cedar tree. Oh well. Okay, so now we're still following the edge of the meadow, except now we're on the south side. That spotting tower is a pretty good landmark. That's actually the same type of spotting tower as you might have seen at the entrance to Timber Shoals Ranch. Custom made to view buffalo. Except that this one, someone has added that wooden deal a few years ago, apparently, for deer hunting. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, as soon as you see that, you know you're within a few hundred feet. And I'm looking down here. Yeah, we're getting close. So now we're still hugging the edge of the meadow, but we're headed east. And in just a couple hundred feet, we'll be at the property. We'll be on the left, so we can actually see it already. And this is one of the tracts with direct frontage on the Corps of Engineer take line, which is pretty fantastic. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so I'm looking at the MapRight map, which I have open on the iPad. You definitely want to get the MapRight app. It's free, and then we can send you the link to the interactive map. And if you open the link within the MapRight app, it's fantastic. You can see exactly where you are. There'll be a little dot to indicate where you are. You'll see the outlines. You'll see all the roads, which is basically a necessity because you can easily get turned around at Timber Shoals Ranch with the miles of easement roads and trails. Okay, so we are at the southwest corner of the property. So we're looking north at the property. Beautiful, beautiful open meadow. This is about half meadow and half wooded. Actually, just a little under half meadow and a little over half wooded. I've seen the meadow. I've never seen the wooded parts. We're going to check that out a little bit. I'm going to pull roughly into the center of the property, and then we'll drive northerly toward the hardwood. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's all hardwood. I see a big pine. I see some cedars too. So we'll head northerly to the trees. How about that? Gorgeous private meadow out here on the peninsula. We see deer in this meadow all the time. I'm pretty much convinced there's a herd of deer that never leaves the peninsula, because I seem to always see them, the same, I don't know, they all look alike to me, but the same 15 deer. They'll be waiting at that north meadow, and then they'll run off to the south, and they'll end up on this meadow. Okay, so we're still looking northerly. The map shows we veered a little bit to the east. We're still on the property, but we're on the east side of the property. And I want to get roughly to the center, so then when we walk through the timber, we'll safely be on the property and be confident that we are. Or I could just bring the iPad and have the MapRight map. Okay, I think we'll call this good. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna leave the truck running because we're charging the battery for the backup drone after I destroyed the first drone. The backup drone I'm not too familiar with. I've used it twice, but we're gonna use it to get a video of this property. And this is, like we keep talking about the MapRight app, that's what this is. If I can get out of the sunlight, I'll take a quick look at that to show you why it's so cool. Okay. So the blue dot is indicating where we are. The yellow line is the road we drove in on, and then the property itself is outlined. So when you've got the MapRight map open, I mean, you can tell precisely where you are and see the property boundaries. So really cool. We're going to walk to the north, and we're going to veer a little bit east, so we're staying roughly the center of the property. I see a bunch of little cedars, and then behind those I see some nice timber. Let's have a look at this. We've got this little buffer area of younger cedar trees, and then it looks like once we get through that, we're going to be looking at some pretty good timber. And we are. We're looking at some really good timber. I mean, I'm not a timber expert, but let's put this iPad down a second. That is a monstrous oak tree. Holy cow. I'll measure that, do a rough measurement. That's over 30-inch diameter oak tree. That is a very nice tree. grab the iPad and we'll do a little more walking here. So I see some cedar trees, some very large cedar trees over there. So the meadow actually extends a little further to the north if you go around the east side of it. I mean, you've got some good options with this property. If you wanted a large, flat, wide open building site, you've got that meadow. If you wanted to get back into the timber, I mean, it is awesome to build a house in the big timber. It's a building site that can't be replicated. You have to find big timber. They can't truck in 30-inch diameter oak trees. Oh, this is a big tree. This is bigger than 30. Holy cow, I gotta measure this. Okay. 10, 20. That's a good 35 inches across. I'm gonna grab a photo of that. Put my hat down there for scale. Can't even get half the trunk in one photo. It's a big tree. So we always like to mention, especially when we see valuable timber, that once the property's been paid for in full, you can cut the timber, you can sell the timber. You can obviously let the timber grow if you choose, but that's after the property's been paid for in full. In the meantime, the timber stays where it is. Hickory tree, maybe? I'm not sure. But where I was headed with that was, if you like mature timber on your building site, it's something that can't be replicated. It has to be there already. So there's no way I've ever heard of to put a tree like this on a property. It has to be there already. The root system on this is utterly enormous. So if you've been looking for a tract with big mature timber to build your house within the monster trees, monstrously huge trees, this might be a good one. Now it looks like as we continue looking north, it slopes down gently as we get closer to the lake. And we'll do that drone video and we'll put that in the listing as well. This is about as far as I'll walk right now because I do want to do that drone video. I'm really impressed by the timber. I already knew about the meadow and how pretty that was, so I'm impressed, but I'm not shocked like I am to see all this big timber. This is great. Multiple options for building sites, direct frontage on the Corps of Engineer take line. So you can grab your fishing pole, you can walk right to the water. I'm not going to say you can take your four-wheeler to the water because I don't know about the rules on that. I know a lot of people who certainly do ride their four-wheeler all over the Corps of Engineer land, but I'm not going to tell you to do it. But I mean, just great access. You got different places you can put your boat in that are nearby, or your jet skis or whatnot. So pretty fantastic. Take a look at the drone video as well. Properties like this are very rare. We happen to have a few at Timber Shoals Ranch because we were able to secure a nice piece of property. So we do have a few right now, but when they're gone, they're gone. So act now, act fast. But check out InstantAcres.com to see if the tract is still available, or send us an email at sales@InstantAcres.com, and we would love to chat with you. Nice timber.